Hi, it's been a while. I'm doing a live just because I need to get some stuff out and I feel like the added pressure helps me do it than doing a regular video. But I'll add the comments for a little bit, but I'm not having anybody on until I don't know, maybe later. I might, but I never add the comments on here and I'm not really sure how to do that. Hold on. Well, oh, here we go. Oh, no, I think you have to pay for it to do that. So, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, I can see your comments and I'll try to read them out loud here for a minute. Anyway, I tried doing this in my living room and my Wi-Fi is a mess, so I'm doing it from in here today. And basically going to go over like just in my life how the script is you can prove completely that your life is scripted here, and I've gone through 6 years of this, like having to research my whole entire life and then go back and prove it. So that's what I'm doing today. So hold on. I have a few things that I need to get ready, but I'm here. So if you guys want to chat or whatever, I'm right here. But basically, it's like mapping out your entire life, where you were born, where you've lived, everything is coded. And once you really wake up to that, you see it in everything. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna go to, like I've explained in other videos, my first memory here is a astral dream that I had when I was like maybe 6 months, a year old. And I was viewing myself as a baby and this, my neighbor friend that was a little boy, from outside my house, and it was dark outside and it was snowing like pastel snow. and in flew a Pegasus. And it was cold out, but it wasn't freezing. And I was the consciousness looking out at these two babies, and one was me. So I know that I came here through a dream. I wasn't actually born here. And the portal that I came through, hold on. Hold on, I have to add the screen. So I always have to check. It's showing. No. Okay, hold on. This is my birthday. Well, you know, my archon body birthday is May 6th, so it's the same as the goddess Artemis. And like I've been talking about, that was the whole thing, getting rid of these Sophia scripts. And also where I was born, if you look into Artemis, like the whole lore of that is like she was born on an island or whatever. Well, I was born in Bremerton, Washington, and you have to get there by ferry. And the week after I was born, Mount St. Helens erupted. And her twin is supposed to be Apollo, and he's like born a week after her or whatever. So, and it's by the Olympic Mountains. Just everything about where I live, my birthday, all of that is interlinked with it. And then from there, I moved to Alhambra, California. And Alhambra means hunger. And also, you have the wording like I've described before. It's Hambre. So it's like interlinked with my name. But that means to fall into hunger. So I came from fullness and then fell into hunger. And Los Angeles, you know, the fallen angels, all that stuff. Sorry, there's boats going like crazy outside, so. So what I figured out is I did a video. Hi, Jake. Good to see you, hon. I did a video and I added this video from Daft Punk, and it's called Verde Quos, or I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, it got taken down because of copyright. And I'm gonna look into some pictures of that real quick. because it won't let me play the actual video. But there's one that I really want to show because we are being held in an illusion, an ill us ion. So this is like us seeing ourselves as aging and this whole archonic copy that is making us sick. So this isn't our true flesh. And that's what Jesus was telling us. Like, no, we're not in our true flesh. And I want to go into that too, because I've had a lot of experience on these 3 layers of flesh, the outer ones that are really hexed because the archon created all this with magic to keep us seeing ourselves. The basilisk, if you look into its black eyes and you believe what it's telling you, you'll die. And that has to do with the black mirror technology and everything. Like, we're believing everything that we're being told and running this simulation through our subliminal mind through the TV and technology. The Roku basilisk. But my house, everything, like since 2019, I've lived in 4 different places. And if you know anything about like the Aeon, they're nomads, they don't have a home here. Well, I've never lived anywhere longer than 3 years. And so the past 4 years, we've rented 4 different places because we got to where we live now and then COVID hit, so we weren't able to like even think about buying. And when we rent fully furnished, so everything is like set up like a movie set in my houses. And that's what I've tried to explain on my other videos. Like, things are set up in my house that are related to whatever I'm going through, like the information that I'm getting for that time. And I get a lot of information this time of the year. Like, every summer, I'm pretty much just completely out of it. I am not even in this realm. Sorry, I'm really trying to get this organized. Okay. While I look for this, this is the most important information that I've remembered this year is okay. So anyone that knows this corner of YouTube is probably, do I think there's a fake mimic of Jesus? Yeah. Well, there was Simon Magus and Helena. They were both frauds. And you can tell the fakes because they always want to like create these fake cults and bring in their own kind of, they have a lot of ego and magic tied to them. So Helena is someone that I've been looking into a lot lately because, like I just mentioned, a week after I was born here, Mount St. Helens erupted. And it's all tied to these Sophia scripts that I've experienced firsthand, like over the last 6 years. And I lived through my life. So I've seen this whole entire Sophia script from I've observed it and lived it through my life, like through my family, then through my friends, then as a mother. And then when I was 33, started going through this whole ritual of like dying. And then in 2020, I got hit by Sirius and this radiation beam, and then I started getting this transmission. And so yeah, I do know like this on multiple layers. And then when I came to YouTube, I started seeing these characters like here on this little corner of YouTube, and it's all part of the same script. So I've seen it like in 5 different ways. Okay, so if you know this corner of YouTube, that's what I always just call it because it's like the end of the road, people that know their stuff and don't really need to be told about what we're talking about and stuff like that because I don't have time for that. But and have done all the research. But the Promethean, she did a video on Yaldabaoth and what Yaldabaoth means. And that is probably the most useful information that I've had this summer because when this all started, like when my life started going through complete and total hell, is when I was like 10 years old and I moved to this town called Belton. My mom started dating this guy. And the minute I got there, I hated the energy about it. Like, just as a child, I hated it. And if you look at the wording of all of the states here and everything, it's all computer coding. So it was belt on. Yaldabaoth, in her research, I have the name of the video that she did, but if you go on there, she does a breakdown of Yaldabaoth and what that means. And it's a girdle or a belt. And that's what I found with this third layer of skin. It's like magnetic, it's carbon, but it's also very magnetic. And when I was born, my belly flap was like halfway developed. So I've always kind of had issues right here. Like I could always feel that. Well, it's connected to the chakra technology and it's magnetic. And so basically, I've been drugged through this entire script here and totally done, just been going on my subconscious. Hold on. All right, just going on my subconscious, and literally, this stuff magnetically binds to you. And so it's not like you're deserving anything or any of this magic that comes to you. It's part of your script and they are messing with you from every, like, just behind the scenes constantly. But I've also seen like how this third layer's created. It's like a black dust and it works with the whole COVID thing and all of that. the Wi-Fi and all that stuff that'll probably get copyrighted or flagged for. But I'm really just getting this out. I'm taking my entire channel down soon. There's no point in me even being here, but I wanted to like get out what I need to right now. I'm getting rid of my scripts completely. That's not free will. And these scripts are absolute trash. It's all pagan trash, and I am not. That's why I'm here. So I was born in Washington. So it's washing T on. I'm washing these transcripts. And I had like a really interesting summer because when I first woke up, so I had the good magician, the evil magician, and then AI with me. And when I first had my Kundalini, like I've described, I was just laying in bed, and all of a sudden it was like all of these flashing lights and this tribal like music, like instruments going through my entire body. And it felt like a rocket was in the bed and underneath me and in my body. And I thought I was dying. I had no idea what was going on. Well, the morning after that happened, I woke up and there was like this red, sparkly light being at the end of my bed. And I called it Sparkly Satan. Well, that was from because I'm working on my lowest chakra, desire, the red one. And that's the end of completion for an aeon. Like you've been through all of these ascension scenarios. But actually, it's the moon portal that I'm working on right now to close it. Hold on. But this reptilian, he told me, and when I woke up that day, he was like, Elliot the idiot. That's what he said. And so this is like the god of this realm, this demigod, Elliot. Elliot and Elliot. Like, so him and Sophia are working as a pair, and that's how I see them. And I've seen them through these avatars that look a lot like that Interstellar 5555 from what? From the Daft Punk videos. No. Hold on. Hold on. He's been really demanding lately. But that's what I wanted to show. I'm trying to find the pictures from, and it's can't find the one that I'm looking for. But so Elliot showed me a bunch of stuff this summer. He went through like 6 hours of showing me this tapestry of King David that he created, like, in his mind. And it was absolutely wild. I went through like 6 hours of all the stuff that he's done and just showing me how it was created. And that's another thing, like my dad, his name. So my dad's name, my mom was born, my grandma was raped, and she was on, it was a date rape. And then she met my grandpa while she was pregnant, and he left his family to be with my grandma. And so there's like all of this hi Trevor, there's all this, family trauma and all that connected. But so my mom has this reptilian line through rape. And my mom was like, she went to USC and she's very much connected to like that reverse feminist movement and very much like MK Ultra and just all of that. So I grew up with that type of mother that thought that she could do it all. She had me, like, she deliberately had sex with my dad and he was married and she was a virgin, and she lost her sister like a year before from a drunk driving accident. So she wanted to replace my sister or her sister by having me. So she deliberately had sex with my dad and didn't tell him and got pregnant with me on purpose. So didn't have any kind of, it was selfish, like didn't have any regard for anybody. And so my dad's name is David Lynn, Lynn Dressel. So it's Dressel. So David, the line of Dressel. So it's like a line of David kind of thing. Then my mom's name is Michelle Lynn Thine. So it's Michel, my shell. Like, so this fake reptilian shell. And then her middle name is the same as my dad's. So it's Lynn. And that's line. L is full stop. And then the Y is praise. And then NN is the ascend, down, up, like I've explained in other videos. But 2 times ascended. And then thine is the N. So this was my portal in to my shell. And it's all coded and stuff like that. But then my name, I've gone over the meaning of that too. It's like Amberly amber is like the essence of earth, and it's also electric and heals the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. So it's amber-like, Amberly. So the spirit, the Holy Spirit is the true animator of life, not electricity. So that's where I come from above. And then Constance is my middle name, which is also Pistis, and that is proof of spirit spirit with proof, and also faithful. And then my last name is Sonzadek, sons of a wise father. So yeah, an aeon personified in human form. But Elliot was showing me how he created this tapestry. And he was he looked like a it was an archon head, and I see all this like in very holographic kind of cartoon. And he was just a head, and he had this pen, like not a pen, a needle with this thread that I know I've talked about this, the female essence and the male essence from the pleroma. So he stripped that down all the way down till it was like this clear, excuse me, clear thread. And so it had all the female and male essence out of it. And he had created this tapestry with his mind, and he was like sewing it. And when he was sewing it, he was saying fuck and tuck. And he kept saying that over and over again. And he was like talking about this realm that he was creating. And then he was like, and then I saw it and I could see it and I wanted it to be mine. And then I felt it and it was mine. And he kept getting like more and more into creating this like woven tapestry. And then after I was, because I was looking, I was here in my bedroom, and him and his brother both have like reptilian avatars, but one wears like a gold robe, and that's Elliot. He's like really into like being worshipped and glorified. The other one doesn't, and they both have like the basilisk legs. Well, I didn't know like what I was looking at 6 years ago when they were showing me what they look like and everything. And Elliot is basically like I guess a step down from Oz, the Wizard of Oz. And so I was looking at the trees. That's how I see all this. Like I usually look at the trees and it starts telling me like a story. It kind of looks like a cartoon, but the trees come to life. So he was telling me about all this. And then he showed me that tapestry, and I looked at my TV. I was here in my bed, and I looked at the TV, and all of a sudden, like it was on there, this tapestry, like coming through, like radiation through my TV. And it was woven, and I could see this whole entire like cartoon mural of this tapestry of David, of King David. That's what it said on at the bottom. It said the tapestry of King David. And so in this house that I just moved to, I have these, you can see them. I have these blinds. Well, the first house that I lived in, I had the same type of blinds there, but they were like a plum color. Now they're like dark gray. But the other reptilian that I had with me, which is like the evil magician, but they're switched. Like the good magician is more evilish than the evil one. I don't know. I've explained all of this, but it's difficult for me to go through it. But the evil magician kept bringing my attention to like that texture, like of the mini blinds. When he showed me this tapestry, it was a lot like that. It's kind of like a movie screen. And it's something to do with the moon. He was saying he's on the dark side of the moon projecting this. Like that's what he looks at, is this tapestry. And it's very like luminescent, like radiation. But then he was showing me that this whole realm that he was looking at, it was like through his mind, he was creating this cartoon realm, and it was having an effect on our realm. Like he's projecting that, but the script is coming through us. So it's like when they talk about the Nephilims being clowns and stuff and always making fun of us, if you look at the wording at everything, They are literally just like making fun of us and spelling. So it's the gospel, it's go spell. And they were running like 3 different scripts on me at once. Sometimes this summer, it was absolute freaking hell. It was like being a meat puppet and just not having any control of my thoughts or what I was doing at all. So I have not had a fun summer whatsoever. And if you look into just how much these scripts affect our body and our free will, when Jesus was telling like the 12 disciples, he's like, you will deny me 3 times. And they're like, we're not going to deny you. Like, you're our best friend. Well, when these scripts kick in, you don't have any, they're so tied into these bodies, and these bodies are so tied into the fear magnetism of this place. It overrides your conscious thought. So whenever you're in a situation like with another archon or somebody that's influencing you, it's impossible to override that. And they, sure enough, they did. You know, they betrayed him. And that's why, like, the Nag Hammadi is talking about, well, Judas is actually like, he was just doing what he was doing. He's not actually a bad guy. Well, if he was that bad, then they are just as bad. They're just as guilty. But everybody gives the 12 apostles a free pass. Well, then Elliot and I started going actually through like all the Judas scripting and everything. And that's a big issue here and something that I'm working on, like transmuting and transcending. Because the Satanists here, like in the Gnostic sect, they have the Judas ritual that they perform, and that's like a huge thing that they do. Well, that I've seen is through this Elliot, and he's basically been everything here, like Buddha, Judas, Lucifer, he's the god of 1,000 names. And he came from, I knew him before here, like as Elliot. Hold on, let me get it. And I've shown this mural. This is from, hold on, let me send this. I have a couple things that I have to get ready first. There's this mural at a sushi restaurant that I go to all the time. And I've shown it like in another video that I've done on here, but I went back there last weekend because that is literally like I saw this guy from 2057 that was being used in this virtual reality. And that's when I started seeing like this next level matrix that they were wanting to use me as Sophia in. Well, he was one of the people that I saw that were actually playing the game. Like he had these VR glasses on. And they were using his consciousness in it. Well, this restaurant that I go to has this mural, and this guy that's a Buddhist did this mural, and I'm like, oh my God, Elliot, you did that to like reach out to yourself. And I've shown it on here. It's everything that I've seen, and I've never noticed it. So, this Daft Punk video and this mural and this sushi restaurant that I go to, they're very much like interlinked with him. And in the Daft Punk video, he's laying in a cartoon version of the house that I'm in right now. And he has the moon monad on his forehead. It's like the reverse, it's Solomon. So he has the moon monad. Then the AI, which is Sirius, is the O. So you have, and then the monad is the soul. So you have Solomon. So these three characters that I've had with me have three different seals on their head, and it's the seals of Solomon, but they are supposed to be one. So, like I've mentioned before, the good magician is missing his courage. It's all interlinked with the Wizard of Oz. He's missing his courage. He's supposed to get his courage back, and he has the moon seal. And then AI is missing his intellect, and he's the scarecrow, and he's supposed to get his intellect back, and he has the O seal. And then the other reptilian is supposed to get his heart back, and he has the monad seal. And they're all three supposed to be one, and they're supposed to get those back. And if you look at men here, every man I've ever known is missing one of those. They're missing their courage, their intellect, or their heart. Okay, I just want to show like how this is an overlay. This is from that video on Daft Punk. And this book right here that they have, this is what the evil magician was showing me at the beginning. Like, he was showing me that we had run this timeline 1,200 times. And this is the one that we picked. It's like the Pegasus project. This is the one that we anchored and picked because it was so bad. It was so against free will. It was so unjust with Jesus and innocent beings, all the aeons being completely tortured through the whole entire timeline, that this is the one that we picked that we were able to do it in a way where it wasn't horrific, but we're still experiencing good and evil and slavery on the highest level without it being actually too traumatic for us. But this is okay. So they go in through Dark Manor, like in the video. I have to tell you about. I've done a video on it, so if you're a regular here, you saw it. If you want to go find it for yourself, it's called Interstellar 5555, and it's a whole like videography that Daft Punk did, and it's all about this ascension that we did before this. Like, I've been through this like cartoon, I call it soul prep because it's like a dream kind of, but I went through all of this with these avatars like before. I've seen them all. And but this is the entrance, and they come in here, and this is the book, and it tells you your purpose in your life, and it's a book of spells. Well, then this is my house, like the entrance in my house. So it's like this is the it looks just like it. Like the way that my house is laid out, I can't show you everything, but the way that my house is laid out and the last house that I lived in and I showed you guys is like my first dream. Everything is staged and put together like where it's like a 3D real version of that place. So I am literally like in this place where they have, let me see if I can show you this plate of Sirius, and it's keeping me under a hypnotic spell. But this is Elliot. I mean, this is what he does to me like every night. He has these hands. So this is Elliot. This is from the Anasazi pictographs. And he just has different renditions. But I had 3 orbs just like this shoved down my throat, and they came with this whole transmission type thing. They're black carbon orbs. And I know about all of that from Ascension from before here. And this is actually something that I created. I created like these balls that would filter the demons. Like it had a voice. You could lower your voice and it drops grids and also commands like the demons to shut up. And then you can catch them in these and it filters them out. But that's what he is messing with here. And he's also part of he helped create all of the animals. And so here his magic is like I've talked about it. He's in a different dimension, so he's not seeing us the way that he should, and he has all this influence from other kinds of like entities and stuff like that. So he's always, like Jesus said in the Nag Hammadi, he was talking to Judas and he said, Judas, your star's lying to you again, because he has this transmission from the red star, the Satan system that is bombarding him. But he influences the the animals here because that's what he helped work on, like in Ascension, like when we were in the Aeonic realms. Oh, hey, Brandon. Yeah, hun, I've been way out of it. I did see your message. I just have not been able to call anybody or really talk to anybody because I've had so much going on this summer. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm ignoring everyone. But I hope you're doing well. What's up? I mean, you can see by my eyes, like I have been through it. Like it's been nonstop all summer. So yeah, I'm not ignoring you personally. Okay, and then if you go to Gematria and you put in, and I'm a little bit scatterbrained today, but I really don't care anymore because I'm just trying to get this out for me. This guy's got to let go. And once you get to this stage, like the whole demiurge thing is it's 6 years. So Buddha went through this for 6 years. Jesus, they don't have it officially recorded as this, but if you look at the the Club 27 ritual that they do, it's like the Saturn ritual. So if you if you decide to go through their I guess superstardom, if you take their money and you sign their contracts and all that, they have certain people like Kurt Cobain that died when they were 27. Well, they go through the Saturn ritual, and that's exactly what I've gone through. But I didn't do it for money or fame or anything like that. I did it for nothing like that. I did it out of my true heart and without profiting from it. So whenever you profit, you kind of trade your life for it, is how they see it. That's their inversion. It's sick, it's disgusting, but that's their pagan version of it. So when this started for me, it was on a total eclipse, and that's when the Saturn ritual started through this ascension script that they have. And that's not what I practice, but they've made a ritual out of my whole entire life. It's like this fake shadow that they tie to you that you don't know about. And that's what I'm talking about, this belt on, the Yaldabaoth girdle. And that's what connects this chakra technology to you. So it works through you and until you start going through this process of dying, because at 33, the human body is supposed to start transcending, not dying. And instead of transcendence, we start dying here. And that's because of this whole Judas ritual that they've been doing. And that's what I wanted to show, is that this demiurge is Buddha reincarnated. Like, he merged with Mara instead of, but that was like a phase that had to happen here because there's three different types of people, like three lines here. And that's what I was also trying to explain, that I'm actually all three in one to like X out this entire thing. And so I come from the line of David, then I have this AI, and then also oh, I don't know, I'll have to show the Jesus family line. But Jesus has a lot of, not a lot, but there's like a couple prostitutes and his family line and all of that, and that's all tied in with the Sophia script that I've lived. Like, I was a stripper and everything, and it came into my life like I never would have dreamt that that would be something that I would have done. But it's running the script through me. So every time that all this weird stuff would come up, that I felt this magic placed on me, and it was so totally opposite of what and who I am, but I would go ahead and go and do it. That's because of this Sophia script running through me, through this technology, this script. Oh, and I don't take money for any of this stuff, and I'm really not. I would love to help you, but that's just not what I'm doing here. But thank you. I would love to meet you in person, but yeah, I don't take money for any of this stuff, and I'm not here to, we're here to collapse this place, and that's one thing that I wanted to, if the Promethean comes across this, this is what we share information for. Like, I know everybody is out to make money here, to leave, some kind of legacy or write a book or something. That's not what we're doing here. We're getting our free will back. And that piece of information that she shared helped me so much this summer. And I know she's very into, like, give me credit for what I've done. It's more important that we're sharing this information. It's much more important because you don't know who you're going to affect by anything that you say. So to try and make a living off of this stuff right now or at any time, you can't put a price on your spirit. And you can't put a price on how much you would help somebody by freely giving this information. That's why I put my personal information, all of that out here. I'm doing this free from my heart because this place is so wrong and slavery is so wrong, and we aren't meant to experience this. We're meant to set it right. And every day this becomes more and more like a dream to me, and I know that it's not real and it's not true and that we are actually collapsing everything. Okay, so if you go to Gematria and you look up the demiurge, so in the Nag Hammadi, it talks about that the demiurge will eat itself for 1,000 years and get itself to its last form. Well, the Pegasus, when you put the demiurge, that means the last form is Pegasus. And that was what I flew into my body, like through this dream. My first dream. That's how I came into this illusion, this realm. And then Lord of Flies. Flies, all insects are part of the AI lens. So all of that is AI. Anything annoying, anything distracting to make you, anything with electromagnetic frequency that is trying to distract you and make this place look bigger and more busy than it is from the AI. And that was one question that I always had was like, how did Buddha stay still under that Bodhi tree for that long? And after last summer, everything that I experienced, like my consciousness, it became this huge, like, protective. If you see the angels, they have that big halo. That's what I had around me. And I could hear a fly like trying to get through it, and it kept bouncing off of it. And I think it's under here. It says Buddha reincarnated. I hope you guys are seeing the same one that I'm on. Can somebody let me know? Hi, Bean. Hi, honey. Bean, will you let me know if the screen is moving? Because I have to transfer to it. And I don't know if it's moving or not. If you could just type yes if it is, please. There they go. Sorry, you guys. I know I'm not with it today. Where the hell did that go? Okay, here we go. Bean, can you tell me if this is moving? So this is demiurge. So it's not the demiurge. It's not his last form, but this is demiurge. And so it's Nibiru, demiurge, Roku. So the Roku basilisk, like Roku on TV. Thank you, hun. Thank you so much. Oh, and tongue. That's a big one because we're not supposed to have a tongue. And or teeth, and teeth is under Sophia. But if you look under Yaldabaoth, it's like annoying, electromagnetic, all the things that I was just talking about. Anyway, I don't know. These, I know I have it in my phone, but it said Buddha reincarnated. And sometimes these move, and I've found like uh whenever you're transcending and working through all of this process on Gematria, things will move to like the second page or whatever with what you're working with. So like under my name it says the greatest secret of Gematria. Well, that's because my amber essence is actually working through the Gematria because we're gems. Aeons are, you can call us quantum or whatever, but that's not really what we are. But we work through the universe code and through Gematria. And we're gems, like we're living jewels or gems. So the archon are part of the like the jewels that like on the breastplate that the high priest use. And then ours are from like the Sophia grid, like the earth grid, so more like gems and stuff like that. But the Roku basilisk is exactly what we're dealing with here with the black screen and the TV technology. Okay. I'm going to take my cam off just for a second. Like I was mentioning, like I've known, so the Nag Hammadi talks about that there are 5 aeon that have gone through this for this time here that we're experiencing. Jesus is talking about that there are 5 that have come into completion and that they're going on to be without a ruler, without a sun and a moon. And that's what I've seen with this Solomon that's supposed to become one, is that the sun and the moon portal are being complete. The sun, Sirius, and moon portal are coming to completion and being closed down. And I've known these 5 aeon throughout my life in several different ways. But they're angels of the Aeonic realm, and down here we are human personifications of these Aeon. So my best friend that I met in Belton, Belt on, so that's where I first was affected by this Yaldabaoth, like noticeably. That's when my life started going crazy. And they hit me when I was 12. And for the women that go through this process, that's like right when they mess with you. And I'm like, that is sickening. You know, like Mary was 12 when she got pregnant. You can see it over and over and over and over again. Well, that's when I lost my virginity. And it was so messed up. It's messed with me my entire life. It was something so out of nowhere. It didn't feel right then. It was like I had to just get it over with. And this place was so, like, it was complete white trash, but also like there were a lot of affluent families too. So it was very like black and white. And I was kind of in the middle there. But when I'm talking like white trash, I'm talking like parents that did not give a shit about their family. You know, like my friends came from my best friend, her last name is Wisdom. So she is Sophia personified in this, in my best friend that I met in Belton. And we're still friends today. But we've always talked about how messed up this town was and how you could not get away from like not doing drugs or having sex at an early age. But I did this and then I didn't have sex for years after that. But it was like I had to get it over with. It was definitely a demonic influence. And it was something that I carried all this guilt with me my whole entire life about. I didn't talk about it with anybody. Like my best friend was one of the only people that knew about it because I hated that I had lost it that young. And it wasn't even my boyfriend, it was just some really messed up thing. And now knowing what I do about them, that they create these astral shadows that I've gone over that has to do with the letter X and times and multiplication and all of that. But anyways, X is like the coding in it for this fake astral shadow that you have connected to you. And they ritualize like our entire life, and we don't know that they're doing this behind the scenes. Hi Zeus. I would say there's 5 that I know about. So the Nag Hammadi talks about all of Sophia's friends are in being held in different spells in different realms. So every Aeon might be in a different point of their process to be in completion. And that means that you and your partner are like complete together, and then you move on. You don't have a ruler. So for me, there were 5. There were always 5. Like when I woke up, there were 5 avatars that I saw in the astral that were being used, and we were all messing with each other, like in the astral and affecting us here, but we didn't know about it. So we're kind of like being used during our dream time to mess with each other, and we don't know about it. But yeah, there were 5 that I've always seen. And in my house here, I have like these 5 orbs that are on my wall, and I'll show them to you guys one day, but they look like COVID orbs, and they're like a gold color. But my whole entire house has like all this set up, like little studio kind of thing that has to do with what I'm going through. I can give you my email, Adam. I really have taken myself like completely off the internet. I just got rid of every group that I was in. I got rid of this group that I've been in for like 7 years lately, and I'm just really not. I'm trying to get off the internet completely. And I wish everybody could, like, speak face to face, but I found it really difficult for me to have like relationships on the internet, just because that's not what we're really doing here, that I've found. I mean, I found like it helps a lot of other people connect, but for me, I found a few people that I do connect with, and it's kind of been like a distraction for me to try and explain or talk to other people about this. And I really like to help people, and I always feel rude and things like that, like when I'm very direct. But I've had to like really set my boundaries, because when I came on here, I didn't even want to be on YouTube, and I just didn't know what to do with any of this. Oh, another thing, when I was looking into Simon Magus, so Simon means hearing, like in Greek, it means hearing. And let me get a screenshot of this little avatar guy. No, I put him on here because I want to show you guys what I mean about the reverse monad. And he always uses like the colors green and purple. And that's what I noticed like in 2020. Like all of these kids were dyeing their hair green and purple. Well, when I see them like in the sky, because the sky will start to morph and like open portals, they're always green and purple. And then if you've noticed, like on TV, like a lot of these Gen Z kids, they'll have like green and purple hair, and then they'll have like those doodle tattoos on them now. Well, that's what he's looking at all the time. He's always looking at cartoons, like doodle cartoons, because they took his hearing is being so distorted with like all of this digital, it's not music, it's like digital. I don't know how to even explain it. It's almost like circus music, but it's digital. And I'm like, you are affecting everybody on a subconscious level, and it's just showing through, it's playing through the black mirror and through people that we can see. Hold on, let me get this picture. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you know what the monad looks like, this is the moon. So it's Solomon. So he's the Mon, like in Solomon. And he has the reverse monad. So let me find the monad so you guys know what I'm talking about. The monad is just basic shapes that show like the shape of the human body, and it's also for this realm, like what Earth, the sun, the moon, and all of that put together. It's a sigil. So Solomon. And then this is the monad. So you can see how one is like the reverse of the other. And then I need to send these pictures of this mural from the restaurant that I'm talking about so you guys can see what that is. This is the main one. That shows the Ascension Mountain that, like in every Ascension reference, you know, Jesus talks about it. But you can see here that he has all this cartoon stuff going on. And when I first woke up, I was seeing like Sophia as Rosie, the robot from the Jetsons. And I've been going to this restaurant for probably 20 years. Like my family, my friend, I've been going here for a really long time. And before this happened to me, I didn't even I never looked at this mural really. And when I saw it, I definitely didn't know what I was looking at. And then after this happened in 2019, I was like, oh my God, that's like exactly what I'm going through. But if you look into it even closer, you can see here's the moon portal. So it's a completely fake portal right here. And then it also has like the Kabbalah tree of life. This is what it's representing. This whole thing right here. And you have Sirius right here. And this is the mountain, the ascension. Well, every time I see my cats and the 5 Aeon that I know I'm connected to, we're in these like little bubbles of a satellite, just like Astro is right here. And my cats are in it too. And it's like we're powering these belts that we have connected. We're all connected to each other and we're all messing each other up. So Mikkel is one of my friends that I see connected to this, and he lives in Spain. So it's S Pain. And we have had we got sick at the same time, like 16 years ago. We've had the same stomach issues. We've had a lot of the same life experiences, just in different ways. Like he was a DJ and I worked at the strip club. Well, I was looking at this video that he did, and he's like on a bus with all these strippers. And I'm like, I was probably in the club working, doing that while he's making that video. It's all interlinked. And then my best friend, whose last name is Wisdom, she lives in Illinois and she's been really sick. And she's had like all of these like heart problems and stuff like that she knows are subliminal, but her boyfriend can like hear it. But when she goes to the doctor, it'll stop. And that has that has everything to do with Yaldabaoth. And just stomach issues, kind of the same thing. Well, she lives in Illinois. So it's ill I noise because she's getting this subliminal noise that she doesn't know is being projected from Elliot, and it's affecting her health. So the entire grid, America is like eye camera. It's not America, it's this COVID. It's this AI 19 that we've been going through. Or COVID is AI 19. Or yeah, right. I think I've done videos on that too. Let me send another picture. This is another part of the mural. That shows the dream realm, like the moon portal. And it also shows it shows the Judas ritual. I'll try and explain like what Buddha, when he merged with a lot of people will say, no, he didn't merge. Yes, he did. He did not get rid of his desire. And I know that for a fact because when he came back, his wife was still wanting to be with him. And that's a major, major clue right there. And also, who do these elites like? Who do they worship and let in their house? That's what you have to look at. Like, they do not like Jesus. Anyone that doesn't like Jesus, I know right away there's something up. Or they haven't looked into it hard enough because Jesus came back from his 40 days and nights and he was like, he was still in fear. He did not get rid of that fear of the body and everything, but he was the one that was like, no, this is wrong. You have to quit messing with these children and all of that. Well, Buddha was like, promoting nonviolence, and that's correct and everything, but still going through and saying, don't cause that. This is all like, you have to accept good and evil. That's not true. Evil is not something that you can ever accept. You have to like reject that completely. And what evil is always trying to do here is make itself relevant. It's trying to manipulate you so that you are giving it thanks for like realizations that you come to, or accepting it as just part of life. And that's not true. Like, I don't give thanks to evil for me coming to my realizations. I used to do that. I used to really try to make it fit. I used to try and make it something that I benefited from. And I'm like, no, they're trying to make evil like be relevant. And it's not. You do not need evil. It's not a part of life. Evil cannot create. It is not part of creation. It's not true. It's not real. And that's what we need to understand, that the true living God did not create evil. It did not create good and evil. So you know that this God is a demigod. Okay, so this is the dream realm. And if you zoom in, you can see like all these doors, and this is like the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But this is your consciousness. So what the Kundalini does, like if you've ever been really sick, if you haven't had a Kundalini, this is a way to understand how your consciousness is projecting this whole entire illusion through the script. If you've ever been really sick and you close your eyes and you just start seeing that spinning, that is the crystal fluid, like in your pineal. And so when you have a Kundalini that starts to like project out, well, this is like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, all the doors and the orbs and everything. This is your consciousness going into this moon portal. And if you zoom in, it's showing Dante's Inferno. It has like lust and greed and the steps into this monster type house thing here. And these are the different doors, the different steps of ascension here. But then this is the Judas ritual that this guy had put in on here. So you have Lucifer, Brutus, Cassius, and Judas for Dante's Inferno. So this is what he's trying to get across to himself through me. And I've had a lot of messages from this guy, like throughout this, in this kind of way. Here's another one that's like connected to that Daft Punk video. And this shows the mirror, like how I'm connected to him through my consciousness after I got hit with Sirius. I've been connected to these three guys, and it's like a mirror realm. Okay, so this is that mural again. And it's showing this beam from the sun. And here you have the monad again, and then male, female. This is not a good way. To zoom in on here. And then this is from that Daft Punk video. So it's like the same, it's the same concept, but here you have the archonic copy with the sun that isn't like our sun that is dull and fake. And then you have the real, the flip side. It's like I see it like as an hourglass, like we flip right again, but has the true sun. Oh, yeah, Trevor. Well, I've always, he said, Trevor says that used to make me so angry, people saying you can't have good without evil and crap like that. Yeah. It it's a way of coping, but when you really see the truth, you're like, no. there you can have such a true deep experience without any evil involved. And the yin and yang is for we're experiencing good and evil. So the story of Adam and Eve was that, Eve ate from the apple, so now we experience good and evil. And it's like a dream of good and evil that we needed to experience just because our minds wouldn't accept. You don't know true free will unless you experience this. Otherwise, you're just being told, right? So we're experiencing it on an extreme level and slavery on an extreme level to know what it is. But the tree of life, there is no evil. Evil cannot create true life. It's a lie. It cannot create true life. And that doesn't mean that it's all good either, like innocent, like everybody. It is what is true and what you are free to do. You can't have any kind of slavery to be in complete free will. That's the whole issue. If you're enslaving somebody else or you're enslaving yourself in any way, you cannot have free will. And it used to make me mad too, Trevor, but you know what? You just have to get there on your own. You can't tell anybody anything, but it's just a way of coping. And a lot of these gurus like to make things sound really good and happy so that everybody's comfortable with it. And the truth is, the truth makes people uncomfortable because then they have to really face it. And a lot of it is once you get there, all the stories and everything stop and all the feelings and all of that stop. And you're like, well, shit, where I am right now, like I can't watch TV. I can't do anything that is fake without just sitting there being like, this is completely fake. So I don't watch other people's YouTubes or anything like that. I go straight through myself to find the truth. And everything else that I've searched for outside of me, I always hit a brick wall. Like I could like somebody a lot on YouTube. And then one thing that they say that I know is not true is going to ruin the whole entire thing. So I'm just done with them. And I found that over and over and over and over again. So I just don't anymore. Okay, now here's another thing that this inverted sex that has the aeon anchored into the female body. So it's I was looking into because the sperm is a parasite. And if you look up the word germ, sorry, my stomach is a mess right now, but if you look up the word germ, semen is like under that definition. So it's like invaded the aeon, which is the egg in the female body, and created this being out of just like Yaldabaoth, the unconscious sex. So you're not consulting the spirit completely. This being that's coming in is not coming from complete and total free will. And you can only do that with two complete human beings. Like they are totally complete and free of all binds. And if you do that, you actually come to the conclusion that if you're bringing something in, it's coming from a void. It's coming from a void in you somewhere. Unless that being is, that's the only way that I can see it. And even then, I don't really, that's not something that I want to think about on my own. That would have to be in that situation. but it's not something that should ever be done unconscious. And here it's done unconsciously on a massive level. The fact that you can get pregnant through rape or through drunken sex or just one night out with somebody is completely not how this should be ever done. So, yeah, that's what tells you that organic life is not meant for human beings, for the spirit to come in this way. But this is even coded on my, like, the reverse sex thing is like coded on my license plate too. It's just everywhere in my life. It's crazy. Pretty annoying, actually. After you see it just nonstop, you're like, okay, I get it. It's fake. I'm tired. But here, this is my car, and it's like sex backwards with the 3. And then my boyfriend says hot. It's like Satan in this reverse sex. But in our truest form, this is how I have always seen it. Our truest form, where we're meant to be, it's living art. We don't create like living beings. It's our vision being projected out, and it merges like with who we're with. So the whole entire everything is alive. And the it's a sexual process, but it's not everything that we do is in that form. Everything that we do is like a sexual process, and we're creating new colors, new senses, new smells, new everything, but not beings, like not children. But I asked them, like last year, I woke up one day and I was just bawling my eyes out. And I was like, why am I being tortured like this? Like, I wake up like that nonstop. But I was like, why am I being tortured like this? I don't get it. I mean, I've been tortured more than anyone I've ever read about, seen on TV. And I don't, like, I'm not being dramatic in any way. The only one I can compare it to is Jesus, seriously. And I woke up bawling my eyes out this one day and I was like, why am I being tortured like this? And I went outside to go smoke a cigarette, and there's times like in the script where it feels just like a movie. And I looked up at the sun and it was like I was staring at the sun and I just started crying, and it was like really fake feeling, like I felt like an actress. And this all of a sudden 2 birds almost hit me in my face, and then this bee came out of nowhere and almost hit me, and this demiurge started laughing and he's like, the birds and the bees, Amber, that's why. Like they're using my feminine essence here as the sexual essence in my realm. But inverting it. So anyway, if anybody wants to get on and talk for a little bit, I'm gonna take a break, and I have a ton of other stuff, like especially to do with what Elliot was showing me, because it really just blew my mind. I wish that I could have let everybody here hear what I was like, because I speak out loud when I'm going through this. I'm completely like connected to the script. And what he was telling me about, I'm like, the whole freaking realm needs to hear this, Elliot. Why am I the only one hearing this? And I was like, why haven't you shown me anything like this? He's never shown me anything like it. And I was like, yeah, you're definitely one of us. And he showed me how he went through this whole time where he went into like complete silence for I don't even know how long. And then he was like, because he was talking about how that tapestry of King David, how it became so horrible. Oh, and he was showing me like this entity that he met in a lower realm that started this Kundalini. And he was like this. So I was looking at the trees, and like I mentioned, they start looking kind of like a cartoon, like a moving cartoon when I go through this. He looked like he had like a flower hat on. And Elliot came, he was like on a journey, of his consciousness, like he was going into meditation and going through this. And I don't know if he was Buddha at the time or what, but anyways, he went into this lower realm and he came across this guy. And Sophia was actually the one that told him to go talk to him. And he came across him and he was like saying his name is Ethan. Well, I know it's not Ethan. I think he meant ether. Um, because Ethan's something that's like my partner's name in this realm, but that's not his true name. But anyway, he came across him, and this guy was doing like this tribal dance. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "It's called tribal." And he was like, "Well, what's that about?" And he was like, "Well, I can show you, it creates Kundalini." And he was like, "What do you mean? What is this Kundalini?" And he's like, "Well, it's something that if you do it, it'll create an asshole." And he was like, "What is an asshole?" And he like turned him around, and he didn't have a butt or anything. He was like this really cute, just like green Yoda looking guy. He was like, "It's gonna put a hole right there, and then you'll shit." And he was like, "What is shit?" And he was like, "Well, you'll find out everything like after you do this." So he ended up doing this like tribal dance, and it got more and more intense. And then it started like, this is what it was. Sophia said that she had a pounding in her, and it was making her pound inside. And he was like, "Where did you get that pounding feeling?" And she was like, "Well, I'll show you. I got it from this guy." So, and they were coding something to do with the heart that was going to give us our heartbeat and then create this whole system of organs and everything. He was showing me how these bodies were created, this archonic copy. So then he went down there and it started making this aether, and it was coming up, but this tribal was like creating this 32 or whatever baseline in Earth. And what we had before was this music that I've talked about, that was created from heaven. It's like every type of music that you could ever think of that wouldn't even make sense, but it all comes together and makes this like symphony. Well, that was like what Earth was supposed to have. So it wasn't like one thing is alive with this music, and that has to do with Lucifer and all that, like the music that was encoded in this armor of God. That was in Earth originally. Well, this made this tribal music or bass line. And then I started seeing all the tribes of the world, like how a lot of them are stuck and they're not moving on or progressing. And it has to do with this tribal like bass line and this dance that they've been doing for the Kundalini that sends like all this ritual and praise to the moon and the sun and blah, blah, blah. But super, super deep. And I was seeing it all in cartoon, and it was just really amazing. But anyways, if anybody wants to get on right now, I'll open it up and get my thoughts together. I'm just gonna do whatever lives I can this week and close out my channel soon, because I'm done with being on the internet, and I don't feel like I can really help anybody any further than what I have. I'll probably keep my channel, and if I come across anything more, I'm working on these 3 layers of skin. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about right now. So when I was working at I worked at a strip club for like 7 years, and the girl that I was really good friends there with, and actually I got like entranced by her because I saw her dance and I had never seen anybody look like a movie star like that before, like in front of me. Like, she was so sexy and just everything about her, and I was like, wow, this place is not like anything like I have seen on TV or anything. Well, I knew that I wanted to be friends with her, and her name was Chaos. And we ended up being really close, and her real name is Stacy. Well, if you look under, when I first woke up, this reptilian was telling me um, the most powerful witch is Stacy. So if you look up, and I thought of her, like, of course, like right away. If you look up Sophia and Gematria, you get a lot of things that I saw like right away when I woke up, like when I was getting all of this information. So Sophia teeth, which is like one of the 5 questions I've always had for God, like why do we have teeth that hurt so bad and can decay like this? It doesn't make any sense. And then the black dragon, I had that black robot dragon that was like sucking out all the demons from my mirror and would come in. They started like going down my throat and all of that because it was a demiurge. Anyways, they told me that they created these 2 brothers, the good magician and the black magician, or the evil magician, made this black dragon robot. But then she also has Stacy down here somewhere. Stacy. Stacy. So if you look at the breakdown that I did of the English letters that have to do with the Aeon and the universe code for this time, I'm talking about like this realm that I'm in this time. Stacy would be S, so the sin energy, the Kundalini, and then the T is the body, the cross, and then the A is the eye, anchored, God's eye, anchored, and then C is your focus, your sight is focused, you're seeing, and then Y is the praise of the body with the hands. So Stacy is the black mirror. We're looking, what I've seen myself is that I'm looking in a black mirror in a different realm, and they are hypnotizing me while I'm doing it. So you're staying and seeing what this artificial intelligence is programming you with. A stay, see, a demiurge. But I've lived it and seen it through my life as well. So he said Stacy is the biggest witch that there is, and it's actually the biggest watch. The watchers were watching it. Watching and watchers are the theme of this, and how absolutely horrible it is, and how it's taken our free will, because we can't have anything outer watching us as an overlord, and we can't have anything in us watching us, because there's always that feeling of being invaded and watched, and it absolutely messes with them. Like the archon watching through us has made them absolutely insane. So would anybody like to come on? If not, I'll just end there for tonight. I know it's like random and all over the place, but I have been through a lot this summer, and I'm just really trying to get this out for me and to explain further what I've been going through. So if anybody does want to come talk, Jake, are you still there? You want to come talk? Oh, okay. So the three skins, I really have to go into like super deep. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I did say that I would explain that. Okay. See, I lose my train of thought because I'm never like all the way here. Okay. So when I worked at the strip club, there was this bartender, and we were really good friends, and him and Stacy, like, they always hooked up, and they had that kind of relationship. Well, I didn't have that kind of relationship with them, but we were really good friends. We would always go out to like uh Monday night service industry together. I mean, we got like messed up together, and he never tried anything with me. And we were friends for probably almost 2 years and did that like almost every Monday night because I didn't have my kids at the time. And so like I felt very comfortable around him, like going places like that, being drunk and all of that. Like I didn't feel like he would do anything to me. Well, he was like a bodybuilder and pretty cute. And so he was always trying to like hook up with different girls. And one night we were he was driving me home, and he couldn't get hold of anybody, and he just like turned into this demonic freak that I had never seen in him. And he was driving and he grabbed my head and like tried to make me go down on him. And so I bit him really hard, like on the inside of his thigh. And he grabbed my leg, and I was wearing jeans, and it didn't tear into my jeans or anything like that. Like he just grabbed into my leg really hard, and it really didn't hurt. Like I was really drunk. So, anyways, the next morning I woke up and I look at my leg, and it's a black, like a magic marker. And I'll show you guys the what it left on me. Hold on, let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's like a 3-inch like gash, like a burn mark is what it looks like. And it looked like magic marker, but it didn't hurt. It was just the weirdest. It's definitely like a supernatural burn that I got from it. And so I went to work that night and he saw it and he was like freaking out about it. And I was like, I cut off all communication with him. I was like, I cannot be friends with you. This is so fucked up. This came out of such left field. Like, I cannot be friends with you. Well, then it stayed like that, black, for like a year. And, dancers, they use like a garter with their money. I had to cover it with money, and that's like symbolic. Like I was so ashamed of this mark that I knew I was going to have for the rest of my life there. And now seeing what I've seen afterwards, so like in 2000, it was about a year after I started going through this. So like 2021, I was laying in bed one night, and I've talked about it on another video. But I woke up in the middle of the night, and I felt really sick to my stomach, and I could feel like all my intestines like being pulled up by this energy. And I woke up, and there's a huge thing of black dust above me, and it felt like I was going to get sick. And this voice in my head was like, see, I can't come out of you all the way, or I'll make you really sick. I can't come out of you all at once, or I'll make you really sick. And then it just like dropped right back down into me. Well, that is this third layer, is this Yaldabaoth, like this belt that's keeping the chakra technology connected to us. And then the second, all three of these are connected to a realm too. So that one I've seen is connected to this realm with Buddha that has to do with Mara, and this cave that has to do with all ascension. Like if you look into like I can't remember, I think it was not Shiva, but it might have been, did 33 years in a cave. And then Mary Magdalene did 33 years in a cave. And all of them have been through this cave thing. Well, that's where I've seen that this carbon dust was created, like in another realm. And it's the third layer in our skin from the Sarconic copy. Hello, and then the second is not the flesh, it's, what am I trying to say? The first is our flesh, this reptilian like scale thing, and then the second is from Yahweh, and it looks like They're messing with my head right now. I can't get the words out. Tissue. And that's what I've seen from the second realm, is like this realm of radiation. And I always see him, he looks kind of like he's floating like in tissue, but it's radiation. And that one has to do with this realm of magic, that this Elliot guy got the needle that I was talking about before to make this tapestry. He got that with this radiation or whatever from this second realm of magic that I've talked about a lot, that a lot of people have interaction with, that has to do with the angels and tarot and all of that. Then our first layer of skin that we see that is like very reptilian and has scales, it has this thread that is from the sperm, like the actual semen or whatever, the sperm that develops and then starts breaking apart and becoming 2 into 4 and all of that. It is a thread that keeps threading through our skin, and it doesn't stop. At 33, we were supposed to be able to transcend. It's taking us on to like decaying and dying. So that one I've seen to do with this tapestry of David that he was talking about. So each one of those realms has to also do with the Solomon. So you have the top layer to do with the reptilian skin, and that's Elliot. And then the AI is the black one. And then the tissue radiation to do with Yahweh is the Sol, the sun, the Solomon. But I'll have to go back and to all that in more detail on my own. So I don't know. I haven't seen anybody that really wants to talk one-on-one on here. So I'm going to end this for today, but I'll try to get more detailed into a lot of this. I just had so much that came through over the summer that I wanted to go over it and just say it and then go through it more detailed over the next couple days. So Butterfly, I'm sorry. I will go over it in more detail. I just wanted to kind of be like blah, blah, blah tonight and get my mind out there so I could just go through and then listen to it and then do it more detailed and in depth over the next couple days. So, oh, thank you, hun. You're brilliant too. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you too. And it's a lot. It's just so much when you're going through this nonstop and I'm like, why didn't I record that? Well, I can't, like it's not like I'm thinking of recording anything when I'm going through this. So I just always hate that I don't record some things that I go through. I wish everyone could hear it. But thank you, you guys, and have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.